Hello and good morning. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. My name is Jackson Root, Content and Creative Marketing Manager at DTEN. I'll be driving today's webinar presentation. So today's webinar addresses a topic that we've been talking about for some time, and we'll be talking about leading into our eventual return to the office, and that's successful strategies for returning to the hybrid workplace. So joining me for today's webinar to discuss these topics and these strategies, we have Celestin, our head of marketing at DTEN. Mark Barragan joins us from Zoom, North America Zoom Rooms Manager, and Scott Krueckeberg, our head of strategic alliances at DTEN. So I'd like to invite you to address any questions to the Q&A function. We've disabled the chat for this webinar just to maintain the flow of the webinar through. So if you address any questions to Q&A, we'll make sure to address it at the end. We'll also be pulling out some questions as we go as they're relevant to certain topics that we'll be addressing. So with that, we'll go ahead and jump right into the webinar. I'll hand it off to Scott, who's going to introduce our partnership with Zoom. Scott?
Yeah, how is everyone? Thank you for joining us today. We want to talk about the DTEN and Zoom relationship, which is extremely unique. DTEN is the first brand to develop solutions and hardware exclusively for Zoom Rooms. And that allows us to really push each other to innovate features and optimize the product exclusively for Zoom. We've been technology partners since 2017. So we've been in the first Zoom Room and we've been a part of every product release, every software update. And that allows our development and our engineering teams to co-develop and jointly create these new solutions and experiences totally optimized for Zoom and Zoom Rooms, which is completely unique to the ecosystem. What's great about this also, it allows us to be the industry leader in the simplicity of your devices booting up directly into a Zoom Rooms environment, optimized audio, optimized video, the touchscreen features, which obviously lends a lot of value to your technology solution.
And thanks for that, Scott. Since the beginning, the two teams have collaborated, right? So Zoom's a UCaaS company, so we're software by nature, and we don't do hardware. So when we approached the DTEN team and they approached us, we knew this would be a great collaboration to create some special devices. And we do what we do best, which is the software, and DTEN does the hardware. And with that today, thanks for taking the time to drop by and listen to our Return Office webinar. I think you guys will learn a lot of stuff that we've been seeing out in the field recently, and the growth is through the roof in terms of the interest level for Return to Office and the different ways that we're going to be able to help you together with Zoom and DTEN in all these different environments. So thanks for taking the time today.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and with that, Scott, you want to kick off our new DTEN and Zoom video?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're extremely excited to debut the new video with DTEN and Zoom solutions for an entire office, helping you grab the future today, implement these new solutions that we've co-developed together. So Jackson, take it away. Let's roll it.
Welcome to the new future with DTEN and Zoom, where innovation powers your meeting experience. DTEN makes it easy to return to the office with award-winning solutions for every workspace, large conference rooms, huddle spaces, in-office phone booths, and home offices. DTEN is the perfect solution for the hybrid work environment with true all-in-one devices. Simplify your meeting spaces and replace the need for external components and messy cables. DTEN devices set up in minutes. Just plug it in and it just works. Safely return to the office with DTEN and Zoom. Transform existing displays into a touch experience with DTEN Go and DTEN Mate. Use DTEN as your virtual receptionist to greet visitors. Start and manage meetings hands-free from your mobile device or voice commands. Leverage digital signage to share information throughout the office. DTEN's innovative technology drives powerful collaboration. Experience crystal clear audio and lifelike video. Increase participation and engagement. Easily share content. Illustrate your ideas using whiteboarding. And mark up documents and presentations in real time. Join a Microsoft Teams meeting directly from your DTEN device. Upgrade to true all-in-one devices for a modern, simplified meeting experience. DTEN and Zoom, innovating the new future together.
Thanks, Jackson. We certainly hope that you all have enjoyed the video. And now it's time to turn back to sort of the primary conversation for today, which is how to build successful strategies for getting back to the office. And when we talk to customers and business leaders, there's a recognition that we're going to need to reimagine our personal and shared spaces in the office. And today we're going to explore how DTEN and Zoom are helping people see the office through this new lens. And part of the vision is developing a collaboration strategy for the whole office that empowers employees. Because we know that the use of video is never going to return back to even the levels in 2019. The use of video is going to remain high and strong as we get back to the office because we have a hybrid environment. We have a distributed workforce. And so while I might be in the office on Wednesday, half of my team might be working from home that day. So we're going to all lean heavily into video even when we're back into the office. And part of any collaboration strategy involves technology. And now really is a great time. It's the right moment to evaluation collaboration technology, both software and hardware, and to take a look at moving into rooms if you're not in rooms right now, because the demand for rooms is going to get stronger and stronger. To look at new hardware solutions to simplify what you have in your rooms with true all-in-one devices, and the need for the technology to be flexible and simple, easy to use and easy to deploy and manage really has never been higher. And while 23% of us expect that the office is going to be that primary venue for work, 72% of us are expecting that we're going to be going back into a hybrid work environment. And those environments are going to take many different kinds of configurations, whether it's working in the office X number of days a week, or if it's 1 week on or 1 week off, whatever it is, it's going to demand that we think about getting back to the office in a new way. And one of the things that we know when we look at surveys about why people want to get back to the office, two things really emerge. The first is that folks are looking for a quiet professional environment. We've been home for a year, many of us with children, with returning college students or parents. Having a quiet professional environment to get back to work in is something that's important to 62% of us. 76% of us have ranked connecting with coworkers as an important reason to go back to the office. So I think many of us are missing our coffee breaks or going out to lunch with our colleagues. And in order to meet these needs, a collaboration strategy really needs to consider the whole office and what that needs to look like. So let's take a look. All right, so the reception desk. Moving back into the office, customers and clients are going to be coming into your lobby or walking up to your reception desk. And the DTEN Me in Kiosk Mode from Zoom really gives you the ability to personalize this experience for customers and for clients. And Mark and Scott are going to spend more time with you around the Kiosk Mode from Zoom and the DTEN Me. In terms of expanding use cases, we've certainly discovered that while it's ideal as a virtual receptionist, there are so many other creative and interesting ways people are using this technology. People are also looking for easy, ready-made personal meeting spaces that they can quickly and easily deploy across their office. So when we talk about these pre-made phone booths and meeting booths, they're delivering unique and new kinds of personal workspaces. While they are individual in nature, they're serial in nature. So multiple people in the office can hop into these spaces and use them as collaboration spaces. Even the conference room is morphing into a multi-purpose space. It isn't just for in-office meetings anymore. Conference rooms are now the new meeting space, the team collaboration zone, the ideation center. And these spaces have to be accessible for everyone in the office, but the capabilities need to be available for people who are working remotely as well. And I know from a D10 perspective, what we've clearly noticed is that some of our customers who have some video-enabled rooms are looking to enable more of those rooms. And I know that Mark let's hear what you're seeing from the Zoom side.
Yeah, it's actually really exciting, Mia, right? We're seeing here is a different conversation now. Prior to the pandemic, it was always, hey, we have 100 conference rooms. We want to get 10 or 20 of them to do video conferencing. Now the discussion is, we have 100 spaces. We want to use those as collaboration spaces. So having a D10 me in a phone booth, or having an ON 55 or a D7 75-inch, this is becoming the new norm. And the talk is, new customers are asking us, how do we make it simple? We adopted Zoom. We want to be able to go back into the office and simply just sit down and start collaborating. And that's what we're going to talk about today, is making it super simple for those who have adopted the Zoom platform. Is just walking into that conference room, pairing with the device, or wirelessly screen sharing to it, and leveraging the Zoom client that you already have on your Mac or your PC. It's so simple now. We've had 12 months to go ahead and perfect this. And with the things that we've developed over the course of the last 12 months, we're primed now to let everybody get ready to go back to the office. So it's exciting times in terms of the technology that's expected to be in there from the workforce.
Also seeing sort of new spaces popping up. So the idea of hot desking and hoteling is really transforming the desktop itself. With hybrid working, we're going to see people deploying solutions that can be used by different people who are sort of using a mobile workstation on different days of the week. And the need to have a consistent experience in those spaces across employees really is critical and really important. And one of the ways that D10 and Zoom are doing that is bringing both software and hardware to the desktop with advanced features and capabilities that really create that professional meeting experience. So next up, what we want to do is let Scott and Mark share insights and information with you about D10's and Zoom solutions that are going to help you reimagine what this workspace looks like. Right now, what you're seeing is the open office. So a lot of folks are going to go back to environments where there's those open spaces. How do we use them differently now? How do we share spaces in a way that's productive, but also a way that's really safe? And having access to solutions that are flexible and portable, that connect wirelessly, all become really important in those kinds of spaces too. And with that, I'm going to hand this back to Scott and Mark, and they're going to really talk to you about the technology itself. They'll give you a deeper dive into how D10 and Zoom can help you reimagine these spaces, empower your teams in terms of collaboration, and deliver the technology that makes it all happen.
So I think I'll go ahead and kick off this one, Mark, because virtual receptionist and kiosk mode is near and dear to my heart. Since the inception, since beta, we've been working with customers and getting feedback to really perfect this and make it simple, deployable, scalable. And I think we've really captured this opportunity here with our virtual receptionist. So it really allows people to return to the office, for guests to enter an office environment and have that safe, contact-free reception. It allows you to deploy a remote expert literally anywhere on a campus or within a building. And these guests can be greeted from anywhere. So your receptionist can be in a separate room, they can still be at home, and it really allows this application to be scalable. And already we've seen it, kind of grow organically outside of receptionists and into remote experts, right? So how about we go through a couple of those use cases that you've seen on the Zoom side already being adopted with virtual receptionists?
Yeah, again, this is another one of those, prior to the pandemic, it was nice to have. I think a lot of our customer base were saying, how do we do such a thing? And it was always too expensive. So think about a D10 Me, it's only $599 price point. In the past, in order to start this, it would be a $10,000 to $15,000 device, and then a third-party software package in order to bring this all together. So now it's just with our portal, you go into the Zoom Rooms tab, you convert this to kiosk mode, and you're off and running. And with that, now when we present this to our customers, they're all just, the light goes off, right? I can't tell you, multiple customers alone in the past week have told us we want to put this in a Genius Bar area, right? So a lot of the, if you will, specialists that help people with IT, just fixing their laptops, they walk up to a bank of Genius Bars, right? Or just remote IT experts. And now what they could do is they could put a Me in kiosk mode out there, and the workforce can walk up to there. And if that person from IT couldn't make it there that day, they can always be there virtually with one touch of a button, right? Or just saying hello to launch that call. So these are the types of things that are really exciting, that they're popping up and making it super simple for the deployment, because the price point's there, the ease of use to deploy it is there. So extremely powerful application. You can't say enough. I'm really surprised at how much traction we're actually getting right now with virtual receptionists. A lot of customers are right now trialing it and starting to put it into production. So this is something, and again, we're not asking you guys to replace a receptionist, but what if a receptionist couldn't be there that day? Maybe they can't make it. They also have the ability to do their job from home. And that's yet another use case, is not replacing a receptionist, but simply giving the access for someone to do their job remotely as well.
Yeah, 100%. And that Zoom web builder on the back end allows you to put up to 4 of those Zoom accounts, those contacts, and those resources. So it always is going to round robin to someone that can answer that, that receptionist call. So very simple to tap, connect with someone remotely, keep that safe distance. But like you said, it's not a replacement tool. It's just a value add, way to keep that interaction safe and at a distance. So as you can tell by the image here, we've seen 2 kind of solutions, right? We've seen customers that prefer to put a Me on their reception desk, right? That's currently there. We've also worked with Urban to create a kiosk stand, which a lot of customers are excited about because they don't have to depend on current infrastructure or desks or tables that might already exist. You can deploy these anywhere in a lobby, next to elevators, anywhere on the floor, and you plug it in with power. It connects via Wi-Fi. And it's just the most simple, scalable solution that anyone can ask for a virtual receptionist.
And just one more thing is remember, we don't charge extra for this. This is our regular Zoom Room license, and you're off and running. And right now you guys can contact your Zoom AE, and we have free trials that we can send out. So if you guys want to have a free trial with a D10 Me to deploy a virtual receptionist, please contact one of your Zoom AEs, and we can arrange that for you guys.
Yeah, definitely a great opportunity.
I would encourage folks who are interested to absolutely do that, because it's very hard to describe the functionality of the D10 Me and the high quality of its components. That can be a challenge when we're doing a webinar like this, or even using video. So getting your hands on this device, seeing how powerful it is, but also seeing how beautiful it is. D10 spends a tremendous amount of energy and effort designing our products to make them modern, sleek, accessible. And in fact, the D10 Me is an award-winning solution From a design perspective, it's won a couple of very prestigious awards, including the Good Design. So it has a really sleek professional look to it. So placing your D10 Me in your lobby as your genius bar person, or whatever the case is, it really creates a personalized, exceptional experience for the people who are walking up to your virtual receptionist or the remote expert.
Yeah, absolutely. And there is a question here about the different size, right, solutions. So as you can see there, it's ideal for the D10 Me 27 on the kiosk stand, but this is also deployable with our larger devices. So you can easily mount a 55-inch on, a 75-inch D7 in any of these type of environments and still deploy a virtual receptionist in kiosk mode on those devices as well, since it is really powered by that Zoom Rooms backend. And you can set that device to kiosk mode and have that same experience regardless if you're on a 27-inch all the way up to a 75-inch.
I think it's a good moment here to talk about how you can personalize the device specifically for you and for your company. You can completely change how the device looks. You can brand it, use your own branding colors. And if you could just kind of walk people through how simple that is to set up.
Yeah, sure. So like we were talked about in the back end, there's a Zoom web builder, which allows you to customize the background of your kiosk. You can add your corporate logo, a welcome message, and then that action button, which you can leave on Meet Receptionist, or you can put call for help, talk to support, IT. It really allows you to customize that action button. And then the back end is up to 4 recipients that can receive that call. So it's a really fantastic way to make it exclusive and customized to your organization.
I've heard stories from both of you about how people are really taking this technology and using it in unique and in sometimes surprising ways, or ways that weren't initially thought of. So I think it would be helpful to share with folks some of the unique ways people are using this technology.
Yeah, like we mentioned earlier, remote banking expert. We're hearing things in retail stores, having them at the front as you walk in. Maybe you want to reach out and say, hey, look, I'm looking for specific type of clothing today. There's just so many different ways that it's being used now. And I would just mention that in the past, again, it was just too expensive to do something like this. But now the price point's at a point where, we can mass deploy this throughout the organizations and for all the different use cases. So very powerful solution here on the virtual receptionist and kiosk mode and, remote expert. I mean, there's just so many use cases that we haven't even thought of that our customers are, I'm sure, are going to bring us throughout the coming months. So looking forward.
And I think a great use case we've seen too is kind of its usage for point of sale, especially in restaurants where you can tap the screen and place your order for carry out. And we've seen some really great ways to contact support. We've seen personal shoppers. We've seen concierge in entertainment. So any application where you need to punch out and have that one-on-one conversation, this makes it extremely easy to do so. So next, I think let's dive into some of these personal meeting spaces, which obviously is a hot topic currently. So how can we empower someone returning to the office to have that collaboration, that technology toolkit to really empower them to come back and stay productive? So I think the personal meeting spaces is something you see pretty much in every conversation at the moment, right, Mark?
Absolutely. Every conversation has now hoteling, hot desking, phone booths, all these, right? Because as we don't know what the level of employees that are going to come back to the office, this gives them the flexibility to walk in. And, we have today the ability to pair with your mobile device. So if you have the Zoom client on your iOS or Android device, I simply walk into one of these spaces or phone booths. I can simply just go there and pair myself with the actual unit. And what that does is I can use my calendar. So if I'm going to start my Zoom meeting from my client, it actually is just going to pop up on one of these devices, the D10 27-inch or even the ON or the D7s, any one of these will have that ability for me to just simply launch the call, never even having touched it. So if that's one of the concerns, is touching the surface of it, you can use this with your phone. The Mac and PC will be coming in April-May timeframe, where we'll be able to launch an actual meeting from that device as well and control the devices as well. So think about that. I walk in, we still recommend that you have the ability to have touch it to start from the screen. However, I could do it right from any one of my mobile devices. And that's powerful because that's, again, what our customers are asking for as they return to the office, is a safe environment, contactless environment, where I can simply just open up my device. I have my Zoom client and it communicates and I'm off and running. And then these devices as well, a lot of our customers are using them for digital signage. So think about when I'm not even in a call, you can in this cafeteria instance right here, maybe you want to put a menu on there to show what's going to be the food choices for the day. There's just so many use cases, corporate messages, or an all hands meeting that you want to stream out. All of these use cases are there at a touch of a button. And again, these are not extra features we're charging for. These are things that are just built into our portal that you can program the D10 meets with.
Yep, absolutely. So really excited about that opportunity of having that same experience remotely, but also in the office. And that's what's great about the value and the price point of the D10 Me. It allows you to deploy that solution at home and also deploy that solution in the office. So your adoption of technology goes through the roof when you are familiar with the environment that you're in, both at home and in the office. And being able to take a mobile device, a laptop, and enter into these devices, control them, and your not just your meetings license, but your phone license, your contacts, your calendar, everything populates in there, and just makes an extremely recognizable environment, which makes it simple to kind of manage that hybrid workforce coming in, staying home. But the adoption is fantastic, having the Zoom platform and the D10 devices deployed across all of these use cases. Next, let's go into the conference room. So I know Zoom is bringing new features to the table, right, Mark, to make that hands-free situation kind of come to life now, where a lot of it had to do with shared controllers and doing things like that. But you guys have really innovated that experience in a conference room as well. So let's kick off with some of the Zoom Room features that are new and you guys have kind of brought to the table.
Yeah, so I mentioned in the previous slide that we have pairing mode. And what that is today you can go to the App Store on Android or on your iOS device, and you could download the Zoom Room controller today. And the way it works is once I go into the room, I simply take my mobile device or in April, May timeframe, I could do it from Mac or PC as well. From the client itself, once I pair to the room and I launch the controls, there'll be a button there, launch the controls, it'll launch the control app automatically. And with that control app, I could do things like mute the audio, adjust the volume, change the layout of the screen. I can share, wirelessly share, right? Which is something that, again, a lot of third-party applications out there that will require me to share, right? Ingesting maybe or plugging in a dongle. You don't have to do that. It's all wirelessly with us. And it works great whether you're on the corporate network or you go through the cloud. It works either way, so extremely powerful on the way we do that. And full motion video, can't rate it enough because the way we do the full motion video sharing is extremely effective. So very powerful what we do with the touchless environment, as you can see here. Once I launch that in my own personal calendar, I simply launch it and it's like that device, that D10 device becomes my camera, speakers, and microphone. So very, very powerful on the way we're launching this. And we probably don't even talk about this enough, Scott, but the microphone inside of this are so powerful, right? I can't tell you how many times I've been in a classroom with an instructor and I'm always asked, well, don't I need a lapel? Don't I need ceiling mics? And once we give them the demo of just walking around the classroom, whether it's right in front of the device or at the very back of the classroom, it just blows them away when they go, wow, it's just so powerful on the pickup of that microphone. So again, these are things that you don't have to really think about. You just walk in there, start your meeting, start collaborating, start talking. and it's seamless, the seamless integration of what we've been able to do together with Zoom and D10.
Yeah, and I think that goes back to the joint development, right? The optimization that we're tirelessly working on, and that's, you know, the unique position of D10 hardware is they are Zoom Room devices and they are optimized for Zoom Room experiences. So that digital mic array being optimized and processed by the Zoom software is just a really great experience for every customer.
Yeah, and Nia mentioned earlier, you know, the all-in-one. What is an all-in-one? Well, when you install one of these, I think that's when it hits you what an all-in-one is. And that is, you just give it power, right? That's all you need. And then you give it the device activation key and you're off and running. You're able to bring that Zoom experience into a conference room environment. And with all-in-one, that's what it means, right? Because in the past, you'd have to get a bunch of wires, a bunch of the complex integration and installation was just too much for some customers. And it didn't scale. So with these types of devices, these really scale because they just walk into the room, install it, right? Whether you do Ethernet or you do wireless, it's there. So extremely powerful. During the pandemic, you know, Zoom became a verb, and it's really two reasons. First and foremost was the ease of use. It just works. You heard that a lot, but that consists of two things because of the ease of use, and then also remember that these devices have the same video technology that exists in the client. So think about that. It's not like we're using something different in the conference room as a video client. It's the same video technology that lives in the Zoom client. And that technology, if you go, there's a recent Gartner report out there, it ranked Zoom the highest when you have packet loss in the environment. And I only mention that because the reality is in the past when we did video conferencing, you know, I've been in this industry for 20 years. We'd always sit down with clients and say, you need to have the perfect network. You need QoS. That's not reality anymore. We're all doing I'm at home right now doing this. Scott's at home. When we return to the office, it's going to be a healthy level of home office workers and office workers. You're just not going to be able to do the QoS between those. So again, these devices have the same core technology that performs so well. And, you know, I invite you guys to go look at the Gartner report because it clearly shows that Zoom's at the very top when you don't have the perfect environment, which is what we're in now.
Absolutely.
What I really like about this feature, just as a user, is how seamless it is for me to kind of move about the day. It makes it super easy. It's a familiar user experience because, you know, 300 million people now know how to use Zoom and access sort of its intuitive capabilities. So it's very friendly in terms of adoption of technology. There is sort of nothing new to learn here from a user and end user's perspective, except exploring features and exploring, you know, all the things that the device and the software can do.
And we're getting a question is, if this right here, you know, let's just say you don't have, you know, the latest software with the Zoom client and the Zoom Room controller, the sharing key, how do you get that is the question. And in the top right corner, you're always going to see a sharing key. So you simply could just open up your Zoom app and it says share, you can share, and then it'll ask you to type in the sharing key, which is always in the top right corner of the device.
You know, I'm really excited about kind of where we're going, right, with the technology. So that's great, Mark, that, you know, we are achieving innovation together, but we also share a joint roadmap. And that's exciting knowing some of the features that are being developed to future-proof your return to the office. And I think that's one thing D10 does really well is we provide you the future-proofed hardware for endless features and software development that we continue to create. So as video conferencing and that technology continues to evolve, right, at an extremely fast rate, the devices that you have in your office and in these rooms and these spaces are future-proof 2-3 years ahead of time. So we can utilize, you know, multiple cameras and switching and auto framing and the audio and all that stuff is kind of already in the hardware, and we're just continuing to push each other to innovate, you know, how we can use all of those different specs. And one thing I think that's exciting for everyone is kind of voice controls and how that's very familiar technology in the home, but now we're going to expand that into the office and you guys are working obviously very closely with Alexa for Business. So if you want to kind of start there, then let's move into Zoom's plans, right, for that proprietary voice technology and what we could start expecting down the road.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, we've been working close with the Alexa for Business team, and then of course you guys, in order to embed this technology into the devices. And it's something that, again, customer demand, the hands-free environment, the touchless environment. This is something that gives you another choice to walk into the room and simply just say, Alexa, start my meeting. And I said that too loud. Now I got my devices all launching here at home. But yes, I mean, we're really used to it. And again, for those that are concerned, this is something you could turn on or turn off in the admin portal, right, on the devices themselves as well. So Alexa is extremely powerful. We all know that there's a lot of APIs already out there, a lot of integrations already done. That's why we chose to go down the route of Alexa for Business first, because it gives us access to the big ecosystem of integration that they've already done. So very powerful. It's not just the voice commands. I could do things like start the meeting, adjust volume control, change layout, but there's so much more you could do as well. If you have a lighting system that's a smart lighting system in the room, you can integrate that for business. And then from there, you can control your lighting, you can control blinds and stuff. So there's just a lot of possibility with Alexa. We also are going to be releasing in the summer timeframe our own native voice commands. For those that don't want to use Alexa for Business, they can use the Zoom native voice commands as well. Those will be coming, like I said, in the summer. At the very beginning, it'll be just enabling the simple stuff. As time goes on, we'll probably get some more complex integrations in there. But Alexa for Business today will give you a lot of the voice command capabilities you're going to require.
And I think it's great that Zoom is going to kind of take that in-house, because when we talk to customers that are looking at global deployments, Alexa sometimes isn't an option, right, in specific countries. So having that native to Zoom will allow those full global Zoom room deployments where we can be in Europe and Australia and Asia and in the US, and it's a consistent right deployment and experience across all of those regions. We all know this is a hot topic, right, Mark? So kick it off here with some of the interop, and then we'll touch base on what's available today using the D10 tech.
Yeah, so I'll kick it off with saying that this is a hot topic. As we all know, interoperability is a big deal. In a perfect world, we'd all be using Zoom, but we know that there's others out there. And from a D10 device, I will have the capability to do what's called direct guest join to a Microsoft Teams environment. Why is that important? It's important because as an organization, if you chose Zoom, the reality is you might get an invite to a Teams meeting outside of the organization. So direct guest join, this was a collaboration between Zoom and Microsoft. And that's something that we didn't do in the past. In the past, we'd simply go grab the API that Microsoft provides and do the best we could to do the integration. But now here, we've actually sat down with Microsoft and came up with a way to do what's called direct guest join. So when we actually join a Teams meeting, we're opening up their web API, and joining their meeting with their native video and audio algorithms. Why is that important? It's important because we don't have to use a third-party service in the cloud to go and do what's called transcoding, which is something we used to do a lot in the past. It was expensive, required a lot of DSP power, processing power, and it was just not scalable. So that's one thing that during the pandemic we learned, is that Zoom had the ability to scale with the way our architecture works. So this is basically going to allow us to do a direct guest join from a D10 to a Microsoft Teams environment with one button to push with calendar integration as well. So we intercept that invite and we're able to do that. It's available today on the Mac and Windows PC Zoom Room build. However, in April-May timeframe, we're looking to integrate it as well into all of the appliances. So that's definitely in our roadmap to get it done within the coming months with Microsoft on all appliances across the board, including the On and the Me devices. And so that'll be extremely powerful. And I'll also mention that it is phase 1, meaning that we will have subsequent releases beyond that that incorporate more features. So we're not going to get all the features set in at the very beginning, but rest assured that we are working with Microsoft to make it a more pleasant experience to do a lot of the advanced features of the integration in the future as well. So
Yep, and today, right, the most basic things you need are there, and the D10, D7 being Windows based allows you to see that Teams meeting in your Zoom Rooms calendar, start it from a tap, and you can control your mute and your camera off and on, and some of those things that you need, they are available today in the D7 device. So here we just kind of show you some ideas here for other use cases on the D10 Me, and that's as that personal device in our office, those hot desks and workstations. So going back to that use case where you can re-enter the office, bring your personal device, bring your laptop, sit down at one of these hot desks or one of these hoteling stations, and enter into that device and bring your personal contacts and your personal calendar to pair with that Zoom Rooms device. And we see a lot of customers, looking for a solution like that where they can kind of separate everyone, keep them at a safe distance, but still have the technology tools that they're used to from the larger conference rooms, right? And from the technology that they see in bigger and more developed spaces in the office. Now we can bring that down to a one-on-one situation and sync users with their own license into that environment, which is extremely exciting.
Yeah, this one right here, again, a lot of talk on hot desking, hoteling, a lot of different names for it. So these are, again, things our customers are asking on a daily basis, is how do we do this in an elegant way? And the things we've explained today, right, with the pairing mode, wireless screen sharing, it just makes it super simple for us to go ahead and finally roll these things out throughout the different spaces, if you will, within the organizations. And just feel free to contact ourselves as well, because there's a lot of different ways that we could do this, and integrating it with digital signage, integrating it with all the spaces you have around there. Extremely simple to roll out.
Yep. And we both have joint development happening right now for headsets and some other personal devices that will allow you to be in that single one-on-one environment. And those will continue to innovate, continue to optimize in every software and firmware release moving forward. So next, I think, is something that is near and dear to your heart here, Mark, and that's the little known fact that you can deploy digital signage today with a single Zoom Rooms license. So get everyone excited about that, because I think it is kind of a huge value add that it's not talked about enough. So let's run everyone through that application here.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, a single Zoom Room license will enable the entire organization to do unlimited digital signage, as well as scheduling displays, which we didn't touch on earlier. But with digital signage, this is something that was, again, nice to have prior to the pandemic. Now, post-pandemic, as we approach post-pandemic, it's a must-have. And all of the devices we mentioned today can act as a digital signage display, or if you just have a regular terminal, right, a regular LCD or LED monitor in the hallway, you can stick a device behind it and create digital signage with that. The cool thing there is we're doing integrations with companies like Space.IQ and Density.io, and we can ingest that URL to the digital signage, and you could do things like wayfinding. What is wayfinding? That's where you upload a floor plan to the digital signage. I can then tie that into Exchange or Google Calendar and see in real time where I can actually have a conference room open, right, or a space. So in a perfect world, before I get it onto a campus, I'm going to schedule my conference room. But if I forgot, this allows me to walk up to the digital signage and simply see in real time what's available and what's not. And the cool thing there is I just simply walk up to that room and I could then book it out if I have a scheduling display up there. So very powerful when we can do with the digital signage. And again, this is something with one Zoom Room license you get free from our portal. So you guys can roll out as many as possible. A lot of times when we meet with facilities teams, they always say, sorry, we already have a third party, another solution for digital signage. And the reality is that, where we say, hey, we're not trying to sell you guys on our digital signage package, you already own it. And so that always changes the conversation with facilities teams, is once they know, oh, well, if I already own it, then I might as well learn how to manage it. So that's, again, something we encourage you guys to do is, facilities teams out there or IT teams that work with facilities teams, introduce this with confidence, knowing that, hey, look, you already own it if you have one Zoom Room license, so you might as well leverage it so that the teams that are running the digital signage can just have access to more digital signage throughout the organizations, right, throughout the office space there. So very powerful. We're constantly adding more features and functions to digital signage as well. So more to come.
Absolutely. Yeah, and just adding to that flexibility of, you know, what can I use this device for and Zoom Rooms for? And, you know, as things change and plans change, it allows you to repurpose devices, repurpose your Zoom Room license to maximize the value that you're getting out of those. So, you know, a couple days a week, it is a true Zoom room where people are conferencing. A couple other days of the week, it's a virtual receptionist. The last day of the week is digital signage. So it really allows you to move through those room modes in ZDM and repurpose that device and keep them active and keep the usage as high as possible.
Very cool. Well, we've got quite a few questions that have come into the Q&A function. So, you know, maybe we'll jump right to our Q&A. You know, I think really briefly, before we really start digging into the Q&A questions here, I want to invite you to set up a one-on-one consultation with us. So there's a QR code here on the screen. Definitely a lot of questions in the Q&A that imply that we should probably have a deeper conversation following the webinar. This is a great way to do it. If you scan that QR code, it'll just open up to a pretty simple contact form, you know, just name and email and the best way to contact you and some other information that you might be interested in, and we'll get in touch with you right away. So I just want to give a quick shout out to that.
And there's really some great questions in there, and I think the answers are best served with a demo, and that's something that we can do is really bring you into a one-on-one environment where we are literally demoing those features on a device. It makes it much more realistic to see it really happening before your eyes. So this is a great opportunity. You're one-on-one with DTEN and Zoom for that consultation, for facilities design, for hardware and software features. And there's even more programs beyond that, right, Mark, where we are allowing Zoom and DTEN customers to trial a DTEN trial virtual receptionist. So it just doesn't end at a video. It doesn't end with a Zoom meeting. We want to put a device in your space and give you that one-on-one experience.
Yeah, and you know, please reach out to us, whether it's DTEN or Zoom sales team. We can arrange for the free trial of the Me, so you can test it with Kiosk, you test it with a lot of other things as well, like we talked about today. Think of it as a unit that you can test out what it would be like to put a larger system in a certain area. You can use that as a test device for that, right? Whether it's rolling out digital signage or testing it in a larger space with hands-free communication. These are all the types of things that we can do with that free trial. So please reach out to us and we can arrange that.
Yeah, and there's also some great things that Zoom Rooms provides. Things like the Zoom Rooms 101 webinars, right? Where they can go in and for a lot of customers that have been on the client, right, in meetings for the last 12 months, now they're interested in rooms. I'm hearing about rooms. What are my advantages with rooms? And that really allows you to be in that company environment, have access to company contacts and resources, digital signage, kiosk mode. So, you know, taking that step out of your traditional Zoom license and into a rooms environment just unlocks a ton of value add features and applications that you can bring to your organization.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we had a good question about, it's kind of just a nuts and bolts question, but it's important, is that, you know, are DTEN devices only available to use on a desktop or mounted on the wall? You know, I think this question probably came from one of our diagrams that showed D7, or maybe it was the 55-inch on a cart, right? And then when you attach one of our D10 devices onto a cart, it allows for a truly mobile device that you can roll throughout the office, throughout the classroom. It really opens up the application of that equipment to use it in a number of different applications, different use cases.
And that's a good point here with facilities planning, right? So you don't have to necessarily commit today to where you are mounting a device. We allow you those, you know, great accessory options from top brands like Heckler, and urban, and give you that flexibility to move these devices around, repurpose spaces, even on a daily basis. And it's so simple, right? You plug it in, it just works. That's what we strive to present with the technology. So there are a lot of applications. If you are hardwired for Ethernet, then you can simply plug in, it connects to that network, or we do have Wi-Fi built into every D10 device, which even extends that flexibility for facilities managers.
Yeah, and let's say that you're using, you know, a 55-inch, you know, D10, D7, or D10 on a cart, and you're moving it throughout the building. If you're using it for kiosk mode or virtual receptionist, you know, how do you assign the users to the virtual receptionist, right? How do you find contacts that are in your network?
Yeah. Well, that's a great thing with Zoom Rooms. That is a company contact resource. So in the web builder, which we'd be more than happy to go through in one of these one-on-one meetings, it allows you to add up to 4 of those contacts in your organization. And then there's some rules around, you know, who it picks to receive the call. Activity, are they already in a meeting? It's smart enough to know which one of those 4 contacts is going to answer the quickest. And it's just really smart how Zoom has designed the virtual receptionist mode. So we'd be more than happy to walk you through that by signing up here for a one-on-one meeting.
And I'll just add that this is only, you know, phase 1, the first release of virtual receptionist. So we'll be adding more feature sets to that as we go on. But you guys will find that it's extremely powerful and super simple to use with what we've already created with version 1.
Yeah, very simple.
Great. Yeah, are there any other Q&A questions you guys want to dig into right now? You know, I think it's, again, just reiterating, I think what Scott, you've been saying is there are some really good questions here, but it's hard to address them in this context. And it requires a live person-to-person demo, which is great because that's exactly what we do. It's what we build. It's the perfect way to show off our solutions.
Yeah. And a lot of the answers are yes. So is there a desktop stand for D10 Me? Yes. Are there ways to use headsets? Yes. You know, we'd love for you guys to join us and we'll walk through, you know, that second level in depth on the technology and help you plan for your new deployment. Looking forward to it.
And Scott, I think this question here is from a customer who already has D7s. Will voice commands also work on D7s window devices?
Yeah, absolutely, because that is a Zoom Rooms feature that you're bringing to the device. So being in that Rooms environment just creates that option of integrating the voice commands.
Yeah, we got just a quick question too about the D10 Go with D10 Mate, which I'm really excited about that new product that's coming out from D10. You know, I think that's going to play a real pivotal role when we are talking about retrofitting existing spaces. And I think we touched on this when we went through the huddle room and the conference room, which is if you have a room that's already set up with existing TVs or large displays, the D10 Go with D10 Mate allows you to just put the camera and microphone device onto attach it to the existing display, and then with the D10 Mate, you have a touchscreen device in your hand, which you can use to annotate and whiteboard in real time.
Yeah, and I think
I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, absolutely, and please come back. Our next webinar in this series will definitely get way more involved with the Go and Mate and all of the exciting features that's going to bring to your product portfolio. So with that, Mark, definitely appreciate it as always, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, and thanks everyone for joining today. I think we have, you know, a lot of exciting features and devices with D10 that will help you guys return to the office safely and collaborate and bring that Zoom collaboration into the office space.
Yeah. So thank you, everyone. Nia, I will give you closing remarks, but thank you for joining us again. I'll see you next time.
Great. And as Scott said, this is one in a series of webinars that we're doing. There's a lot of cool things that have come out recently. cool things coming out right around the corner, and we want to keep you updated so that you can have the up-to-the-minute news around the new solutions and new use cases for DTEN and Zoom. So with that, we thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you next time.